We have way more comfort and convenience than ever before. We have way more opportunity and access to growth, to money. It should have made us peaceful, but it's not happening. Where are we going wrong?
We are looking at the wrong place. In this world, there is no happiness. It is all short-lived. We cannot settle for that short form of happiness. We want everything permanent.
Swamiji, I want to ask you, how did spirituality occur to an extent that you folded everything out and you're like, okay, I want to do this full time?
When business was going good, I said, I am coming now. He said, immediately come. Means what? When you are successful, you should leave. When you are not successful, you should not leave.
Do you feel like the world is more fearful? People in general are more fearful?
Yes, people are more fearful, but that stems out of ignorance. We're afraid because we think we run the whole world. Actually, we don't.
If you have to tell a burnt out professional today, what would be the first thing that they can start applying today?
I would ask them to read the Gita. Whenever we feel weak, remember when we were really strong. It's not that we've been weak our whole lives. So get up and do your duty.
Welcome back to True Power. This show is about true power that allows you to strive for the vision that you believe in, the success that you truly crave, and still feel peaceful while building all of it. Today's guests have lived it and they teach it, the balance between striving and being. I am talking to two teachers from Chinmaya Mission who spend their lives studying this exact balance. My first guest is Swami Shantananda. In the 1960s, he was a young man serving as traveling secretary to his teacher. That devotion became a life's work. Vedanta studies in Mumbai, years running a business in Taiwan, and in 1992, he took sannyas and gave himself fully to teaching. Today, he is president of Chinmaya Mission West, leading 48 centers across the US and Canada. In 2001 alone, he completed 50 Gita Yagnas worldwide. My second guest, Brahmacharini Shubhani Chaitanya, built a career in fashion first, then she stopped and asked what she really wanted. The question led her to 2 years of Vedanta study in Mumbai. Today, she is resident Vedanta teacher at Chinmaya Mission, New York, teaching the Gita and Upanishads, running retreats, and she recently published a book called The Woman Seeker. It's an honor and privilege to share the room and screen with our amazing guests today, so let's get into it. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing the principles of spirituality with all our viewers and audience. So my first question is about the difficulty that people have about balancing spirituality in today's world, or like putting them in two different boxes rather than making it a part of our lives. So what do you think that is the case?
The modern science have concentrated on beautifying the world. They consider giving more comfort and affluence, power, position, status will give them happiness. But our scriptures say, there is a beautiful story in Bhagavatam. There is a story of Hiranyakashipu. He was the mightiest. He ruled all the three worlds. And any person can achieve whatever the highest one can achieve, he have achieved. In fact, no creature that is created by the Lord can kill him. And even the thunderbolt of Indra could not touch even a hair in his body. Such a powerful person, that means the zenith of any achievement a man can think he has achieved. But Shuka Maharshi says, still he was not happy. Why? He gives that he conquered the world, but he has not conquered his mind. This is where the balancing question comes. How to balance our life between material and the spiritual. So the balancing act has to come from disciplining the mind, training the mind, taming the mind. Unless the Lord has given us this great gift, that is our dynamic mind, there is the sky is the limit for achievement if we have utilized that mind properly. But this is what the Vedanta teaches us, how to step by step, how to train this mind and make the best out of our life,
That
whether
is
it is materially or spiritually.
something that we all need badly, whether we acknowledge it, whether we're mildly aware of it or deeply aware of it. But it seems like peace is something that everybody wants, but the more they chase it, the more it is unchaseable. It's not coming in their lives. And what exactly is happening in the world right now? Because we have way more comfort and convenience than ever before. We have way more opportunity and access to growth, to money, and it should have made us comfortable. It should have made us more peaceful, but it's not happening. So where are we going wrong?
We are looking at the wrong place. If you lost something and you don't know where it is lost, and you're looking at somewhere, you will never find it. The same way, each one of us want happiness. We are not saying that in this world there is no happiness. Happiness is there, but it is all short-lived. But this understanding is there, but at the same time, we cannot settle for that short form of happiness. We want permanent happiness. Nobody settle for short time experience. We want everything permanent. Permanent job, permanent relationship, permanence, everything. But at the same time, that is not the fact. It is short-lived. Every experience in this world is short-lived. But we are not able to settle it. We are seeking something higher, permanent, eternal. This seeking is there from our childhood onwards. It's not something that we have picked up. There are two types of desires. One is picked up. There are something that we are born with. And this urge to become perfect, that I want to be complete and perfect. This urge is there, we are born with. And this is what we are seeking in our life.
Right.
And this seeking will continue. Whatever you achieve in life, maybe you are the highest position in the whole world, but still there will be a sense of incompleteness. That sense of incompleteness is the one that urges, now what? Now what? Oh, I have everything. So what? Now what else I do?
Yeah.
This question comes to us.
That quest never ends.
That question is answered in Vedanta.
Yeah, that definitely.
Yeah.
And I think people wait for a really long time before they make spirituality a part of their lives, or even they start to open to the new ways of living, new ways of treating their mind, their thoughts, emotions, and feelings, because the training since childhood, especially if the environment is more chaotic or the environment is unstable, it is not conducive for people to learn the principles of spirituality at the early stages of their lives, it takes them a really long time to develop those qualities. And you have to go through pain and suffering. And I believe I went through it. A lot of youngsters that I know of, they went through it, leading to more anxiety, panic attacks, mental health. So I'll ask Shubhani ji, you must have also seen many of the students that you're working with, or the practitioners who have changed their lives. So how would you help us understand this better? Help us with some of your ideas or guidance for people to start understanding the spirituality as the simplest form of engaging in our day-to-day lives.
The simplest form of spirituality is really to find a higher purpose that is in line with our nature. So everyone has a natural aptitude, something that just comes to them effortlessly, something they never get bored of or tired of, something they thoroughly enjoy. So what we have to learn to do is just find out what that is and dedicate it to something other than ourselves. That's how we spiritually unfold. We commit to a higher ideal, commit to working with a community, with, a company that deals with other social engagements that benefits others. And then we use our innate potential. And then slowly we begin to feel that spiritual joy.
There's one question that comes, like I hear from really, big entrepreneurs, people who are like striving to make it big or are trying hard to make the money, which is also necessary in the world that we're living in, or trying to achieve the success in a certain way, have a lot of drive and ambition, also utilize the principles of spirituality, or like having a little bit higher intention and purpose, alongside all those pursuits, some people believe that if you're spiritual, you cannot be materialistic, or you'll just be confined to a limited life and won't experience the joy of breakthroughs or of making a big success or having more money and more abundance in their lives. What would you like to say to that? And how would you describe desire of materialism or like ambition in context of spirituality, or like balancing it out?
So in the context of spirituality, spirituality actually asks us to aim high, and unfold. And we're growing more, we're gaining more to give more. Materialism is we're gaining more to get more. So that's where we differ. So abundance is fine, affluence is fine. If we're gaining it to give more and benefit more people, that is spirituality. But if we're gaining more to get more and keeping it for ourselves, that is materialism.
And how does it kind of affect you in terms of the outcomes of that experience, of that affluence? If there's lack of intention in it, wanted to probe on that a little bit.
When there's a lack of intention, people are not fulfilled. And we see this time again and again. And people become so wealthy. And then at some point, what do? They start charities. They start to fund things for other people because they feel empty with that wealth. Or people who are all-stars, athletes, and they retire. What do? That they feel that all those accomplishments didn't really give them that fulfillment. They're still craving for more. So they become coaches and they train others. So we see in every given sphere, even people who become really famous, they're still not happy. They're still not satisfied. And you will see those same people coming back using their fame for a greater purpose. And that's when they start seeing some fulfillment, some meaning in their lives.
So using your intellect, your intelligence as a vessel, and allowing that to help others. And of course, you experiencing the fulfillment of that. So Swamiji, I want to ask you about your journey a little bit, because there are millions of people watching you for the first time today, and so many of the existing followers who have known you for the last many decades. We would like to go behind the scenes of your journey. And because as I introduced you, we talked about your business in Taiwan. I'm sure you started as an entrepreneur. So how did spirituality occur to an extent that you folded everything out and you're like, okay, I want to do this full time?
I met my guru in 1969 in Pune. The first lecture caught me. Afterwards, I was slowly got involved in the mission activities. Then I joined the ashram and had the opportunity to travel with him as his traveling secretary. That has given me a lot of discipline and tapas. Because to travel with him is not that an easy job. Because his daily routine is so much. He gets up 3:30 in the morning and 4:30 is ready. And then he answers 50, 60, sometimes 100 letters correspondence. And I had to type the whole thing. And then sometime I have to stay up 1 o'clock. Then again get up 3, 4:30. And in between satsang, I had to attend. All these, it was a tapas. But then after the course, when the course started, Gurudev told me to go and join the course. After the course also, I went to Himalayas for studying Sanskrit. I was there for 2 years. I lived as a sadhu. In Rishikesh, there is a Kali Kambliwala. They gave bhiksha 2 times. So that is how I lived. So 2 years, it was a beautiful training. Because in ashram, it's very easy. Even everything is served. Breakfast, lunch, dinner is served. But here, you have to go and stand in line and ask for food. And sometimes they ask from which ashram you are coming. All kinds of questions they ask. You feel bad. So I wrote to Gurudev, how long I have to stay here? He said, that's why I sent you there, to get trained. So afterwards I came back. Then I was sent to Hong Kong to start classes there. There was no mission at that time. So they could not get my visa. So they sent me to Taiwan. That is how I started. In Taiwan, you cannot stay without having a business. So I registered a business corporation and then started. Because for the visa's sake, I registered a company. Then slowly it picked up. I was there for almost 10 years. I was doing business with America, US, New York, and Los Angeles. That were my places. Then when the business was going bad, I wrote to Gurudev, how long I had to do this, I want to come back. He never replied. But when business was going good, I said, I am coming now. He said, immediately, he said, come. Means what? When you are successful, you should leave. When you are not successful, you should not leave. Then what happens is, there is a regret will be there all the time. So that lesson I learned from him. And he called me to Siddhbari and gave me sannyas. Afterwards, he sent me to Philadelphia. So we started the center there. Then I moved to New Jersey. We have started that center. So afterwards, I'm still in the mission.
Amazing.
Yes.
What a journey. Do you feel that running a large organization with so many centers and so many people that are part of it, even some are volunteers, some of them are paid, or there's a mix of all kind of people that are associated, I'm sure hundreds and thousands of people. It's also sort of like running an organization because you have to understand certain goals and nuances of it and, behave in a particular manner. And it seems like leadership is what you were training for in Taiwan as well, or for the time that you were doing the
different
training.
leadership. It's not like corporate leadership. Because here we are not paying to the sevaks. It is inspirational work. The leadership is giving inspiration. And also, it is not that I am running it. The whole organization is run by our Gurudev and the Lord. So totally you surrender to Him. So there is no question of I am running. If I am running, then there will be always friction, challenges, etc. So we don't have that attitude that I am running it.
But can we translate that in our corporate world as well? Because one of the things that we see in the leadership is having too much of egocentric attitudes.
Yeah.
And because I interview a lot of founders, growth stage companies, one of the things that we always discuss is building leadership that is a compassionate leadership, where everybody starts to feel they belong to a cause, to a purpose that the organization stands for.
Yeah, the leader has to surrender to the total vision of the corporation. What is the total vision of the corporation? That he should highlight to all the executives, not that one-to-one basis, like I have this problem with this problem. Don't deal with that. You have to raise them. You have to raise them to that higher level and start thinking about the bigger vision of the goal and purpose of the organization. Then what happened? The little problem, friction, etc. will be dissolved. That is what we do.
Right, exactly. So the principles of the spiritual life are easily applicable in our personal lives and business lives, because spirit is not out of the body. I mean, it is where we are spiritual beings. That is a reality of our experience. Or do you have any other?
Vedanta is very practical. It is not something that telling you something that cannot be achieved in life. It is a way of life. So it tells you step by step what is practical. Especially Bhagavad Gita talks about how practical how one can be successful in life. So this success, to be determined, defined also. Some people consider success is something that you achieve so much of money, your bank balance, or your position, power, or you have so many properties, etc. This is what determines your success. But that is not real success. The real success is the intake of happiness. Every moment of your life, how much you are happy. So that determines your success. Not the properties or the wealth or the power or the positions or the people.
So how can one pursue all of this? Because they have a lot of energy. They want to create things, and creativity is also expression of our spirit. And that's why the large organizations are employing so many people. There are millions of people that are being employed and they get paid and their families have been run, right? So wanting something big is great in my little understanding as well. Ambition could be wonderful too. So how can we be more joyful while building it?
Vedanta, we don't talk about materialism and spirituality separate. Everybody is a materialistic person. 98% of humanity is all materialistic people. We are not against it. Let us achieve in this That is why India was a prosperous country. Because of the principle that we followed, Vedantic principle we followed, that is why it became prosperous. So any country who follows certain values in life, so that values if you keep in mind, achievement is, there is no limit. So therefore, the scriptures also say that you can achieve materially, but the method that you use should be righteous method, dharmic method. If dharmic methods are used, then whatever the benefit that you get, you will be able to enjoy it. You will be able to become satisfied, contented. Otherwise, if it is a wrong method, you use shortcut method, so maybe you are successful, but it will leave you with certain the regrets.
For our listeners and viewers who are watching and learning about Vedanta for the first time, Shubhani ji, if you'd like to simplify the fundamentals of Vedanta and how you have been teaching it to the youngsters especially, or the people who are, wanting to get more peace and joy in their life. We would love to hear from you on that.
So Swamiji was talking about, when we get or when we gain wealth or when we gain something, do it with Dharma, do it through the means of Dharma. So the first step in Vedanta is really to get rooted in Dharma. And Dharma means our duty, right? And our duty is nothing but doing the right thing at the right time, at the right place. So I give everybody this acronym, RT, RP, RT, right thing, right place, right time. So what's Dharma for me is not going to be Dharma for you or not going to be Dharma for anybody else. We really have to look at our own lives. At a particular stage in life, what is the right thing to do? For somebody who's going to college, their focus should be study. For somebody who's married, their focus should be raising a family. For somebody who's walking the spiritual path, our focus should be sadhana, our spiritual practice. So wherever we are, we have a dharma. And that dharma has to also be done with the right intention. So once we establish ourselves in our dharma, once we find out our duty, the intention should be not so I may prosper, I may grow rich, or I may become famous or popular. As I had mentioned, it is, may I use this to grow and purify myself? May I use this to evolve so that I become more selfless, I become more generous, I become more kind, giving. I become a spark of divinity. So use dharma, find out dharma, and use it, gear it towards the right intention so that we unfold the spark of divinity that's within us. That's simple Vedanta.
Would you say that fear of losing or fear of change or fear of any kind has made people more selfish or wanting to accumulate more than required? Or along with that, there's the sense of validation, the desire to be celebrated and recognition, though I do believe there's a certain place for that because everybody wants to be recognized for the good things they're doing. And I think it feels good too. At the same time, there's like the reason why people feel that they can be generous or they don't want to, open up their own divinity or their selflessness is because of the fears that are accumulated in subconscious mind somehow. Do you feel like the world is more fearful? People in general are more fearful?
Yes, I think people are more fearful, but that stems out of ignorance. We're afraid because we think we run the whole world. We forget that there's a divine ordainer. There's divinity, there's God who runs the entire world, right? What makes the sun shine, the leaves grow, the wind blow, what makes the rain fall, what makes all the bodily processes work? We don't even know that we're breathing or blinking or digesting food or that nutrients are being created or blood is flowing. We don't even know and we're not even aware, but natural processes and even our own physiological processes are happening. And they're happening because they're happening by God's grace. And we forget that. We think that we run the show. Actually, we don't. So the fear of losing something is because we're ignorant of that divine ordainer who's always going to care and take care for us. And that feeling the need of validation is again ignorance because we forget that the real doer is God. right? If we think about it, how does voice come out of our voice box? We don't even know. How do thoughts form in our minds? We don't even know. It is when we dig deeper, we realize the more we think about it, we really don't do much.
Oh my God. We actually don't do nothing. I mean, now, as you just kind of like laid down everything in front of us, right? It's so descriptive and it's so real. What if someone doesn't like the word God and they're like, okay, there's no such one entity specifically? Can still someone become spiritual without coining the word, without like imbibing or coining this particular word in their life and maybe call it something else? Does it make a difference?
They can call it universal intelligence. That's okay also. It doesn't make a difference, on the surface level, it doesn't make a difference. But we all have to believe that there is some divine intelligence running the show. Even atoms are moving in a way, in a certain method. So for everything that moves, that forms, there has to be a law. And for every law, there's an ordainer of that law. Now, you didn't create that law. I didn't create that law. Clearly a cosmic rhythm. Puja Gurudev says, the universe is not a chaos, it's a cosmos. So there's something that ordains all of the rules and laws of the universe, whether we want to believe it or not.
Going to our teachings in Chinmaya Mission, when someone gets introduced for the first time, how do they start their journey? And of course, the people who are from, different age groups and different levels. So what's the first thing then that they start to learn and apply, of course, in their lives?
It's a whole family program. First we have children program. We start education from Shishu Vihar. Actually start from the womb itself, the education. And then we have a structured teaching program for the children up to 12th grade. Then afterwards we have, when they go to college, we have CHIC program, Chinmaya Youth program. And side by side we have adults program also. And that is study group. We have a structured syllabus that we start with self-unfoldment. It's a general topic to introduce Vedanta. Then they get into serious books like Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, etc. Retired people also we have program. And then Devi group. So if a person go through this program, they will have a very good hold of what exactly the teaching of Vedanta and how it can be applied in their life. Actually, in the discussion group, study group, most of it is all their life situation they are facing, and they discuss each other based on the scriptures, how it can be applied in life. So these are all practical lessons. They get it, and they have benefited also. A lot of them have benefited. I don't know how many millions of people mission has touched.
It's totally amazing and incredible, because in my little experience of life, I have gone through multiple setbacks in personal space, health-wise, with some family issues. And I believe it's more or less in everyone's life, there are some challenges and issues that we're dealing with. And fundamentally, that what protected me or saved me was this inside-out phenomena, or I'd say the awareness of knowing that I can't blame anyone else for where I am, and it has to begin from me. And anything and everything that has happened, it has happened because of a higher purpose, or the pain that I'm going through is unfolding something bigger and something more powerful. And unfortunately, a lot of people get into the spiritual learnings or even wanting to know more about it is when they go through some big setbacks, right? I love the idea of imparting this knowledge from childhood, and which I haven't seen in many organizations. So thank you, first of all, for doing it, because I believe if you have these tools already established in the beginning years of your life, you know how to take on life, you know how to handle the misfortunes and the challenges, as the nature of life is impermanent anyways. So things are going to happen to you, right? And also your karmic journey of like that is unfolding, however it's unfolding. So I'd like to know a little bit more about what exactly we do in the organization, or what are the ways that you have seen kids getting the benefit of this particular education?
Vedanta releases you from certain inhibitions that we are born with. Set up ideas that who is God, where is God, what is God. This concept has to be changed, because most of the religion talk about God is somewhere in the heavens. And Hindus also, we have this God is in the Kailas or Vaikuntha, etc. But that concept is slowly removed, because it is illogical to think that the Lord is infinite. That infinite cannot be placed in a particular place. That is finite, limited place. He should be everywhere. And if He is everywhere, He should be with you. So this concept has to be totally changed. So thinking has to be changed. So that what we are praying to, that Lord is not elsewhere. He is with you. The most intimate thing in you is that Lord principle. And how it is functioning. So that is, you can say, consciousness. Now consciousness is nowhere defined, but in our scriptures it is defined. It is all pervasive. At the same time, the subtlermost. That is why all the training is required to appreciate that subtlermost thing. Because if you want to see the microbe, you have to use the microscope, a bigger one, and a more sophisticated one, isn't it? The same way, the equipment with which we have to appreciate that subtlety in us is our mind. So that is why the training is required. So the tools Vedanta gives also, how to train it, how to appreciate that subtlest aspect in us, which is our consciousness. And this is remembered, appreciated, then we are not alone. We never feel empty. We will feel never lonely. No depression is possible, because He is with you, watching over you all the time. It is said in our Upanishad that bodham pratibodha viditam madam. Every thought, consciousness is present. So this aspect is understood. We are released from all problems.
As a child, as a young 6-year-old, 7-year-old, in the program that you mentioned, do they start to learn these concepts through the teachings or through
stories?
Through stories.
Yes.
Okay, lovely.
The stories are given in the beginning. Children will memorize the stories. They get because they have some ideal, role models. So we give them some role model. Then afterwards they grow up, start questioning. 7th grade, 8th grade, they start questioning. We give them what is the value behind it, the philosophy behind it, each character, what exactly it stands for. So that once they understand, then they will appreciate the stories.
That is incredibly important. And you've seen the growth of the kids with this type of knowledge and understanding of life to become a better version of
Yes, our parents tells that. Because once they go through the program, generally most of the parents are afraid to send their kids to the universities. So there is no what is there, because they are out of their control. They feel miserable. But once they go through our program, all our parents are relaxed. Because they have gone through this program, we are not worried. They will never go bad.
They will make the right decisions for themselves.
Decision, yeah.
It's such an important thing.
Yeah. That's a feedback we get from this program, from our parents.
And in terms of the young adults or adults programs in general, so when we talk about Vedanta teachings, I'm sure there's a certain process. I'm just very curious because when I was introduced to spiritual knowledge, I went in all directions pretty much. And started from Buddhism because there were some retreats. I started doing those retreats because I was having panic attacks and bad anxiety issues. And, I was taking medications, but I knew there was something more that is going to help my nervous system and stabilize the comfort of being alive. Because when you are in that mental health issues, it's just very difficult to be comfortable with yourself. And so I went in all directions, and then I went in phases with multiple different ashrams and doing retreats. And slowly I came closer to Vedanta after also doing my yoga teacher training in Rishikesh for 1 year. So the thing was, there were like many different layers of it before I actually came to the ant of what you call Vedanta, right? Which is the supreme knowledge. People who are coming to you, they're obviously at different levels. Some people are more open to receiving, some people are still struggling, and they're at all different levels. In general, how the teaching unfolds,
Yeah.
the process of it.
Any religion has to cater to all levels of people. There are gross type of people are there. That's why we have temples, shrines, worship. Those things are very important for those type of mind. Then we have something called karma yoga. People who are physically oriented, they want to do activities because they don't want to sit and listen to the lectures or discussion and all that. They're not interested. But at the same time, they want to do something. They have a lot of energy. So that's why we give karma yoga, the seva, serve the ashram, come do this, do that, etc. There are a lot of activities are there. They participate in that. But at the same time, they don't have any particular interest that I want to get any benefit. That thought is not there. They are doing seva to the Lord. Those slowly their mind gets purified. Then we give them the teaching. They are ready for teaching. So such people are given teaching. Such teaching also step by step. Slowly there are prakarana granthas, preliminary text, book of definitions. Like that we start, and then slowly we go to the higher text. So this is how the program is defined.
If you have to tell, let's say, a burnt out professional today to use a few principles of your teachings, what would be the first thing that they can start applying today?
There are stories in our Ramayana, is there. See Hanumanji story. Hanumanji went to Lanka. Hanumanji faced many obstacles on the path. And whenever he faced a situation, whether he should do this or he should do this, a dilemma comes. At that time, he should close his eyes and 5 minutes he think of Lord Rama and then take a decision. This is what we should tell to all corporate people, that whenever there is a situation, they should calm their mind, quietly sit down and pray, or if they can pray, to any God, whoever God they like it, and then take a decision. You will be doing the best.
But also the self-reflection aspect of it, because one is that, okay, you're praying and then you're maybe asking for more, asking for God to solve my problems, and in all religions, obviously, God is the one that we reach out for to solve our problems and to shower upon His grace and His blessings and all those good things.
He does.
Yeah. And my question is about the practicality of, let's say, if somebody feels stuck and they just want to help themselves to feel better, first of all, because feel like strong in their heart and their mind, and they happen to come across spiritual knowledge, and because it's vast, and of course, as you just mentioned before, that if the mind is not ready to absorb it all, it's not going to sink in. But if you have to just give one practical advice, okay, maybe this is the first thing that you can begin this journey with. Any of you would like to chime in?
I would ask them to read the Gita. There, Arjuna was burnt out, and Sri Krishna gave him different levels of advice. The basic, simple advice Sri Krishna told Arjuna is, rise up, because you have to defend your name. You have to defend the glory of your family. You have to defend who you are. So get up and live up to who you are. Clearly, you have potential. And remember your strengths. Whenever we feel weak, remember when we were really strong. It's not that we've been weak our whole lives. Nobody has been weak their whole lives. So start remembering your strengths. Remember that and let that rise you up. Get up and do your duty. Then once somebody is able to do that, then Shri Krishna would tell Arjuna, get up because you have a dharma to fulfill. So it's not just about remembering my strengths. Now remembering that, hey, I have a duty to fulfill. I owe this to people. And Shri Krishna further tells Arjuna, get up because this whole world runs on yajna spirit, which means that everybody's contributed so much to who we are today. It's time that we contribute something back. We cannot be receivers our whole lives. It's time to now give. And then Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, get up. Because when you engage in your dharma for a greater purpose, you will purify your mind. And then you will begin to realize who you truly are.
Because at the core of everything that we do, the reality is that you want to feel peaceful. Somebody asked me on a podcast interview, was doing an interview with a podcaster. So what is winning for you in life? The podcast name is The Code to Winning. So that was the last question. And I probably had thought of something else earlier. But because, when I was speaking, I was being more truthful. I said, for me, winning is all about feeling peaceful for the majority of my days, my moments, and all that I'm doing for whatever drive that is subconsciously pushing it out for me to do, take an action out in the world. But at the core of everything, I want to be peaceful. Peaceful, maximizing by peacefulness is winning for me. Now, I know for a lot of people, they haven't come to that realization. And eventually, I believe everybody does, slowly and steadily. My question is about recognizing your own ignorance, because that's also like coming back to the self-reflection aspect of it, because before we are ready to receive a teaching, we need to acknowledge that I need it. Like, I think I need help. You want to call it help, you want to call it teaching, you want to call it advice. So how can one become more self-reflective?
There's a very simple practice we give to children and to youth also. It's bud, rose, thorn, right? So every day, just think about a thorn, something that we did that we probably shouldn't repeat. We didn't really like ourselves for it. We don't want to do it again. Something that's a rose, something that we did well. It went well and we should probably repeat it again. And something that's a bud. It's okay, but it could be better. Even if we just take 5 minutes in our day at the end of the day and do this bud, rose, thorn, we become more aware our emotions and our thoughts and what exactly we are doing. And then with this awareness, slowly we begin to recognize how our character's forming. And before we know it, we're able to watch ourselves before we speak, watch our thoughts and see how they're flowing. So just a practice of silence, 5 minutes, just 5 minutes before we go to sleep or 5 minutes in the morning, that can help us become more self-reflective.
Yes, and it also is a way to get liberated, because a lot of people, they blame other people for where they are in their lives, whether it's the family situation that's not going in the right direction for them, it's divorce or unhappiness in the marriages, or having disputes with children. And there's always like finger pointing at each other. Swamiji, my question is, like, through Chinmaya organization, this work has touched many, many lives. And I'm sure the complexity of life has brought in way more people to understand the teachings, find a place where they can continuously find that, one alignment or one process they can become a part of. How important it is for people to find an organization, to stick with it, and to have the continuity. Because sometimes when you jump around a lot, you can't find that stability or like the group of people that are practicing together. So just a few words on that.
Yeah, they jump around, definitely, because they want to taste, sample. But they come back ultimately to Vedanta. Okay, that is only teaching has got depth. And it definitely gives them the practical tools to achieve, whether it is material or spiritual, both ways.
Materially, how?
If your mind is quietened, so Bhagavad Gita says, forget about the past, don't worry about the future, be in the present. So when that principle is applied, you will be successful in any field. In material field also. If your mind is totally 100% focused on the job in hand, you will be successful.
And you feel joyful while pursuing it.
The very doing itself becomes a joy.
Right.
It's not the result.
Swami Chinmayananda believed ancient wisdom should be accessible to everyone. How does Chinmaya Vrindavan live that belief today, and especially in the United States?
We are teaching that ancient wisdom in a way that our modern children appreciate. That's why our Balavihar program is designed for that purpose. So what is the lesson plan, etc. Everything is using the modern method. So the children will be able to appreciate it. Just not telling the story alone, but how the story will be able to sink into the child. So there are artworks are there, different games are there. So through that we teach them the values.
Also, the parent and child relationship in general, where we see the dispute or disconnect is the not being present or not listening properly, listening deeply, not being able to build a relationship with the child. Is that something that you collectively also build between the parent and the child? So there's more harmony, there's more connection and trust in the relationship? Is that something that we work towards as well?
We have a parenting course also.
Okay. I'd like to have a few thoughts on that and how important it is, in your opinion, because the world definitely is more complex than what it was 50 years ago. And the children are, though, they appear to be more individualistic, but at the same time, they lack that depth and the connection, and which also ultimately gets out in form of bad relationships or unhealthy relationships that they build with the lovers or beloved, or even with their friendships, in their friendships.
I think what we try to share with the parents is, first of all, the children and the youth, they need attention. They need somebody that they can look at. They need eyes to look into. They need hands, somebody to feel, somebody to touch. They need the warmth of a company, because right now everybody is online. They're always on their phones. They're always on their gadgets. They're scrolling through things, and they miss somebody just looking them at the face and saying, "How was your day? Tell me all about it. I would love to know." Not send me a message. Not "I'll call you later." Not, not just text me. Just, "I want to know. I care. I want to be with you." That's what they need most. They actually need physical touch. They need eye-to-eye attention, and they need a genuine feeling that somebody cares for them. And because they don't get this, they get lost in so many other things, sadly. So we try to stress this to the parents, that this is something that children need here and now.
Yeah, like being fully present.
Just being fully
present. Involved. I want to also, actually, this was a question I wanted to touch before, but now I'll ask you. At a very young age, you made a decision to leave your passion for the fashion designing and, just delve into something entirely different. How did that occur to you? And you mentioned that you asked yourself deeper questions. How can I be of more value, or what is something that I want to pursue? So was this decision hard for you, or it was something that you were dwelling upon for a while?
Something just told me that I would have to leave everything. And it was a stage when everything was going well. Everything was going well. My job was good. Family relationships were fine. I had a lot of friends and I traveled a lot. But something inside felt incredibly empty amidst the outer fullness. And I could not live with that emptiness. And something just said, you have to leave and stay with this emptiness. Some people are afraid of emptiness, that they kind of just try to, hide it. They try to hide it, forget about it, disregard it. But something said, stay with that emptiness, feel that emptiness, understand that emptiness, and then it will lead you to fullness. And so I took a break. I traveled around, and I attended Chinmaya Mission's youth empowerment program. They have a great program for youth, which really taught me how to discover who I was. And that changed my life around.
For someone who's not wanting to go fully into it, or choose that to be a path of a deeper involvement, or just solely a spiritual path, though I believe that is a path of utter joy and fulfillment. But let's say not everybody can as well, based on the circumstances in their lives. And of course, also the desires, which are also there, very strongly embedded in their persona, and they want to do other things in their lives. How can they find that balance of deeply involved in spiritual practices and deeply involved in materialistic world of desiring recognition, validation, building big things in their lives?
They can start with seva, as Swamiji spoke about, karma yoga. That's one big thing. And also studying scriptures, just reading the Gita, studying the Upanishads. Just start with that. Start studying the scriptures, and slowly their minds and thoughts will begin to change. And when we read something higher, something inspiring, our thoughts start to change. Right now, our minds are filled with overload of information that just is not relevant to us. Too much information, actually. So what we need to start doing is put our minds in something valuable and enlightening. Start reading that, understanding that. And slowly our lives will begin to change.
And how important it is to come back to yourself, Rio,
To come back to yourself.
to your real self, to your real essence.
That's extremely important. Actually, there's nothing more important than that. Because everyone's seeking validation, but the Upanishads give us the utmost validation. You are infinite. There cannot be any greater compliment than that. You are divine. You are infinite. You are the source of joy. You are what you seek. Now imagine understanding that. Then no outer validation is required.
We've recently experienced chaos in the geopolitical situations and the wars that are happening in the Middle East and prominent places that we all know of for the last couple of years. Many lives have been lost. There is peace in one part of the world that appears to be a little peaceful, and other parts of the world are struggling and suffering. Humanity could have done this a million times better than what we have done to ourselves. And it's a very sad story. And I feel it's also because there's ignorance of power play, of one powerful entity wanting more and more and more of everything, and others not just getting the basics of life. So if there is one role of spiritual knowledge spread out in the world, is to have that peace, compassion, kindness, equanimity, to be a basis, the fundamentals of our life, so that at least everybody that we encounter, we help them live better or be better in any ways possible. So what do we have to do to make this world more peaceful? I'm sure like all of us want to feel that way. Will there ever be a stage or there's always going to be this chaos, and there are moments of peace, or like, situations where like, okay, the world is now a little bit fine for a bit and then goes into the chaos mode again?
World is run by the total thinking, collective thoughts. If everybody wants peace, peace will be. Some people want, let us say, a segregated crowd want not peace, chaos, it will happen. These situations like this were there before also. Even Ravana's time also it was there. It's not something new. It come and go. But one thing we have to understand from Vedantic standpoint, nothing in this creation is permanent. If this understanding is there, nobody get agitated. This will also pass. There will be a time, there will be a peaceful time. We had Second World War, we had a peaceful time. Then it may lead to Third World War. Afterward there will be peace. So this goes on. So nothing to get worried.
But for an individual who's struggling and suffering, like, when we see other people struggling and suffering, it definitely aches your heart. You want to help, but then you are helpless to a certain extent. I mean, these are my questions, honestly. How do we like then get comfortable as a being to find your own joy in your sitting cozy in your home, watching a nice satsang or a nice TV show and having everything in a perfect manner, and in the other part of the world, there's someone who's not even just getting the basics right. So, and obviously you can't make the fundamental change, even as a small entity, like as a single human being. It takes a lot for you to do something that would fundamentally change anybody's life experience. But and from Vedanta's point of view, I understand this is Maya, and this is anyways a higher understanding of our experience, but we cannot even deny that this experience is not happening. The experience is there. So can we do something collectively, or can we emphasize on this message that people who are listening to us can contribute into this piece?
We have to make him understand the value of human life. Because there was a boy who wanted to commit suicide. He felt he is useless, he is worthless, he is nobody, he is not recognized in this world. But then our Gurudev, the child was brought to our Gurudev. He asked him, you say you are worthless. Can you give me your hand? I will cut off your hand. Give me. No. Why? It is useful. The same way, can I take your eyes, pair of eyes? No, that is useful. So the whole body is worth how much if you replace it? Millions of dollars, isn't it? So we are not worthless. So the sanctity of our life, the value of our life is to be reminded. That make him feel, hey, I am not worthless, I am not useless, I am useful. This thought is to be given to them. That will encourage him to live.
That's true, because when we talk about depression or mental health issues, it could be many potential reasons, from childhood trauma or whatever difficult times they went through in their lives, a PTSD. Knowing that it's not the end of the world, that there could be a beginning, I think that's very, very important. And as you said, like sometimes the small conversations like that could turn things around for them. What would you like to add to this conversation around healing through spiritual knowledge or spiritual practices in our daily lives?
Healing is really, really important. We can't suppress anything that we're going through. So if we need to cry, we should. And healing should be channeled. That is spirituality. Many people write poetry, music. They engage in sports and creativity and something to channel that healing. In spirituality, we channel it towards God. Lots of bhaktas, when they were sad, they prayed, they sang, and actually some of the best poetry, best scriptures come out when there is healing required. So just channel that energy into something creative. That'll help.
I would like to know more about like Chinmaya Mission's next phase of using more of these fundamentals and principles to call out to all the people who never found a path, and there's a possibility for them to get this knowledge, get a group of people that can support you. How would you like to begin that journey with them? What would you like to say to them, to like how does the life change? What would they start to experience?
I would say that if they're looking for a reflective place where they can learn more about their strengths, learn to connect to a higher power, learn to find out what naturally comes to them and to serve humanity and to learn the ultimate purpose of life, then this is the kind of place. And Chinmaya Mission focuses on the 3 yogas really. Jnana Yoga, study of the scriptures, systematic study of the scriptures. Bhakti Yoga, devotional practices, and Karma Yoga, selfless service. So if they are looking to get grounded on a path supported by these 3 yogas, then Chinmaya Mission can provide that platform for all ages.
For all ages. Can you explain that, the different groups?
Sure. As Swamiji mentioned, we have Shishu Vihar. That's before Shishu Vihar, we have Garbha Samskara. So when a child is in the womb, there are actually sessions for the couple to go through all the different rituals for the child. And Shishu Vihar, when the child is like around 2 years old, there's parent and me classes. And when the children are 5 to about 16, from kindergarten to high school, we have classes for them. And then we have our Chinmaya Yuva Kendra for young professionals, college students and young professionals. Then after that, we have our adult study groups for parents, householders. We have an exclusive group for women, Devi group. And as people retire, we have our Vanaprastha group as well. All of this, from before a child is even conceived until one is retired, there are classes, there are systematic classes to study scriptures relevant to those ages and with applicable methods that they can understand and apply today.
This is a very important piece of information, because sometimes when there's an age unaligned processes, people get into something and they are not able to relate. So having the similar age group people, it's easier to have discussions about the concepts, or they're going through similar type of struggles, which obviously teenagers would have kind of similar type of struggles, and the adults would have family issues or financial struggles or whatever they're going through. So there could be a place where they can share all these burdens and discuss about potential applicability of the spiritual ideas, and then see the growth. So this is online more possible, or like is it let me rephrase. So all these knowledge is imparted more in person, or there are online groups that people can join as well?
We have both, in person and online.
We have an organization, Chinmaya organization for rural development. We have adopted something like 600 villages in the Himalayas. Those underdeveloped people there, and their whole quality of life is totally changed.
Where exactly?
This is in Himalayas,
Himachal.
Siddhabari. No, where is that?
Pradesh.
Yeah, Siddhabari.
Okay, so can you explain? Because this is very interesting to I'm sure to me and of course the people who are watching. So adopted means
See, these Pahadis, people who live in the Pahad, Himalayas, they were all Rajputs. They ran away because of the Mughals' invasion and all that. They ran away and settled down there. So they started cultivation, etc. And their life is not that easy because of the weather, etc. And Gurudev, he said, when we were sadhus, they were giving us food. So it is our duty now, we have to serve them. That is how he started this rural development. We teach them small scale industries, weaving, knitting, painting, whatever skill they have. The cottage industries and all that started. And nursing also, because the delivery, etc. was all very ancient style. There was no hygiene. All those things we have taken into account and cleaned up the whole village, whatever they need. Now the girls who work in small industries, they are all now doing well. And the hospitals, we don't go to hospitals, there are nurses trained. We have trained the nurses because it is in charge. The in charge is a doctor. So she has trained the nurses and sent them to different places to take care of the needs of the villagers. So this program is running very good.
this is a life-changing thing for them, I'm sure.
And our children from here, they go and do some summer program there, and they come back rejuvenated, energized. Because they say that we have everything, but we are not feeling happy. But those children have nothing, but they feel so happy. So what is the secret? The surprise.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Also, one question I wanted to ask about the other causes that the organization is associated with, because I had a brief conversation with one of the members, and they did mention about some other causes. Would you like to share a little bit on that?
So we have educational facilities, over 100 schools. We also have a Chinmaya University that blends Indian knowledge systems with science, current sciences, mathematics, psychology, etc. We also have hospitals. And as Swamiji mentioned, we have the Chinmaya Organization for Rural Development, where we actually take care of rural villages around India. All of these things, and in addition to over 300 centers worldwide that take up all of these different groups that I had explained, from Garbha Samskar to Vanaprastha, and about 250 trained monks out in the field to really guide this whole process.
This is absolutely incredible and practically life-changing for so many people, whether it is providing services to the rural areas and transforming their lives, to people who are just associating with the process of spiritual knowledge. And I love the idea of like dividing that into age groups, because I think that's really relevant. And it's something that I haven't personally experienced myself as well, because having a group of people where you can share, as I said, your thoughts, especially now, it is way more important, because earlier, people didn't have source of communication. Now communication is the world. You want to share more, and the more you share, the more you get ideas to apply and then to see results, and of course solidify your teaching as well. So to both of you, my question is, if Chinmaya Vrindavan is still here 50 years from now, what does it look like, and what's the one thing that has to be true for that to happen?
Our motto is to give maximum happiness to maximum people, maximum time. This is what our motto is. So
Maximum people,
maximum time,
maximum time,
maximum happiness.
maximum happiness.
Yes.
That's amazing. Would you like to add to that? How would that happen?
I think it would happen by encouraging the youth to take up more leadership roles, because eventually they have to bear the torch. They have to hold it. So it lies in us inspiring them to become more part of what we're doing and working with them and keeping them connected to our Guru Parampara. And eventually they'll be able to do it.
So this will continue to obviously help millions and millions of people who will come in contact with the knowledge. That's wonderful. And my last question is about true power, because that's the name of this podcast. And individually, I'll ask you both, how do you define true power? And how has that unfolded in your life?
The true power is our inner strength. That inner strength comes from understanding that the Lord is with you. If this, every step of our life, every breath of our life, the Lord is present in us. This is our inner strength. This is called Atma Vishwas. Atma Vishwas is not translated as self-confident. Atma is with you. That is the Atma Vishwas.
What a wonderful explanation. Shubhani ji.
When I think about power, I think that all power actually belongs to that divinity, to that cosmic intelligence, that the true power is to empty ourselves and let that power fill us, because we are actually powerless.
And one that fills us up?
When that fills us up, then we operate with that power.
So it's never ending as well.
Yes, it's never ending. It's never, and it's never ending, and it's never our power.
Yeah.
It's always that power.
The surrenderance. I've learned this from you today, how to empty ourselves a lot more and allowing that power to continue to walk, to, move through you for even bigger things in life and better things in life. Thank you so much for joining. It was a great pleasure having you both on the show today. And I wish you great success with Chinmaya Mission. And I'm sure a lot of people got to learn about the principles, the practical tools that you provide. And I'm sure this is going to open doors for many more people to get associated with the mission as well. Thank you once again for being on the show. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.